when you're passionate about something, I think the discipline will follow automatic.
Mm.
Kasi if mahal na mahal mo yung ginagawa mo, hindi ka kailangan itulak pa para gawin yun eh. You know what I'm saying?
My guest today is a super dad, jujitero, panadero, and sometimes rock star. Welcome to the show, Mr. Gabby Alipe. What's up, bro?
Hey man, hello.
Kamusta na? Natawa ako doon sa panadero
Ayun,
mo, pare. Parang,
ako rin.
kamusta ba yung karir mo as a panadero?
Short-lived. Very short-lived. Something I wanted to try lang kasi 'di ba nung simula nung pandemic, parang you wanna try new things or YouTube lang. Sa YouTube ko lang pinanood, parang subukan ko nga. Ano
Mm.
bang ano? And then sa awa ng Diyos, I was able to make a few na medyo okay naman siya ng konti. It was edible.
Mm.
Pero once I learned how to do it, I was like, okay na. Iba naman. Iba na naman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, people know you talaga syempre as the frontman for Urbandub, no? That's how I got to know you. Actually, I wanna get it out of the way, no? Kasi, putya, kabado talaga ako sa episode na to, bro. Kasi, I think, although, di ba, nagkakasama na rin tayo paminsan-minsan, di ba? Parang mas
Yeah.
nangigibabaw pa rin yung pagka-fan ko, bro. Kailangan ko lang linawin din yun. Nandun talaga yun. And, Urban Dub is my favorite band. You're my favorite artist. Sorry na
Thank
lang
you.
sa mga tropa natin, yung mga common friends, maka-close na ano. But I'm sure they'll understand, no? And I still remember, kasi I guess konting backstory lang din. Yung business namin dati nung best friend ko, si Chino, di ba? Yung music local.
Yes.
Prior to that naman, bro, wala naman kaming alam well, mababaw yung alam namin sa banda. Yung sa scene na yun. Saka yung indie scene, di ba? So, di ba, kukulit na. Ang dami namin tanong, sunod-sunuran kami, ganyan. Tapos, I really remember, parang one day, one gig, nakita ko kayo mag-perform. Narinig ko lang yung ano yung urban dub, pero wala akong idea kung ano yung music nyo. Wala talaga. Wala rin akong idea. Wala, since zero. Tugtog ka, I guess, maraming dubista ron sa, ano, putang, yung wild pare. Parang yung energy. At the same time, I think your lyrics mo talaga really connected with me, no? And
Thank you.
lyrics, the energy of your band, kayo, then the energy of the crowd. Parang yung discovery ko nun, bro, parang treasure eh. Parang, putang, parang hindi ako nagbibiro. As in, ganun talaga yung feeling ko nun. And, syempre, naalala ko, syempre, daming ginagawa rin na gigs, right? That's actually something that I really, really miss. And I'm sure you do too, di ba? Sabi ko,
Sinabi mo,
ako favorite ko pare yung mga sagiho type eh. Di ba yung talagang abot,
the small,
yung ganun
small
lang.
venues.
And, yun nga, going back to the lyrics, no? Yeah, I know you're a songwriter. Um, pero have you always been parang attuned to writing? Natural ba sa'yo yan? Ano bang backstory niyan, bro?
Um, well, my mom's an author now.
Okay.
She released a book, but ever since I was a kid, kumbaga, my mom would write journals or um, very creative yung mom ko in that sense in terms of creative writing. Ever since. She'd write songs then. She wrote us lullabies kami magkakapatid.
Nice.
So, meron na akong inkling because my mom would influence me in that sense. And then when I was growing up, parang she would encourage me to write poetry. She'd read poetry to me. She'd encourage me to write poetry, mga short stories, essays, mga ganun of how my day went or kung ano man ang nakita ko during the day. And then, dahil dun, I started at first in terms of music, I started gravitating towards rap music or hip hop because of the lyricism.
Yeah.
And then, dun lang. And then I started writing and eventually when I discovered the guitar, tapos na-discover ko pa Eraserheads.
Mm.
So I wanted to do rock naman now. And then as you grow up in the 90s and you hear different bands, that's when songwriting started happening for me. Kumbaga, mas nag-focus na ako ngayon with songwriting.
I watched nga yung other episode, I think with Rames yata yun, no? With Raymond Marasigan. And yun nga, you said nga, parang you shared na yung dad mo din was also into music. But
Mm.
yun nga, parang on the rock side naman, no? So parang the way I picked it up is both your parents talaga were on the creative, artistic side, and at a very young age talaga, grabe na yung exposure mo doon.
Yeah. With my dad naman, ano siya, my mom was more of pop talaga yung mom ko. I
Okay.
mean, she liked yung mga the typical pop stuff. Influence sa akin with the pop side of music. Whitney Houston, mga ganyan. Even OPM, mga Ryan Kebiab na Fully Desma yung mga pinapakinggan niya. On loop yun sa kotse lagi, lalo na Fully Desma. Pag
Oh.
pauwi ng galing school, Fully Desma na naman talaga.
Mm.
I mean, it was like that. But with my dad naman, eclectic. My dad's musical taste was very eclectic.
Mm.
He was more of nga, Led Zeppelin, Beatles,
Solid.
pero weird siya kasi he'll also have mga George Benson. He's more of jazz though. He likes jazz more.
Mm.
George Benson, mga Miles Davis, and then meron din siya mga Earth, Wind and Fire.
Ah,
Sa
okay.
kanya ko natutunan yung side na yun na mga ganong klaseng musicians. And then, yun, siguro, I guess, growing up hearing those things or discovering those things, parang it just stayed with me until yung I started discovering music on my own. In terms of being a musician,
Mm.
writing music, Cebu. Uh, Mom
Mm.
ko, taga Manila.
Okay.
Dad ko, Cebuano.
Okay.
I was born there but I grew up here until the 5th grade and then balik uli ng Cebu.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So, formative years was spent, like my teen years was more in Cebu na.
Mm.
And then doon na ako na-expose sa pagbabanda because of my high school.
Mm.
And then, yun, discovering music. And then, I don't know, siguro in the 90s din, grabe din yung talaga yung music eh. I mean, daming bands, ang daming mga artists, whether it
Yeah.
was rap or rock.
Mm.
Ang dami nagsisilabas. Tapos lahat magagaling. I mean,
Mm.
for me,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yun, until now, yung pa rin pinapakinggan ko, like, it went downtime,
Mm.
like, it's still the 90s stuff I still continue to listen to.
Francis M. K, di ba? Parang yun natang one of your idols, no?
Siya yung simula.
Siya
I
talaga.
mean,
Mm.
I knew about Ryan Kebiab, all these other artists, pero very Western. I was brought up in a very Western-driven household in terms of culture because of my mom.
Okay.
But she liked OPM then, but mabibilang mo lang like Ampo
Mm.
Hiking, the typical ones. Pero for me, kasi that was her generation.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I couldn't really. It's nice,
Yeah.
but it never resonated with me that much. But I like the music. But nung syempre Francis, yung generation na natin yan eh, tas cool.
Mm.
Tapos Ninja Kids pa.
Yun.
Kasi before he was a rapper, one of my favorite movies na Pinoy was Ninja Kids, labas sa outside of Bagets. Diba? So,
Lumabas yung edad mo. Huwag mo kay damay, bro, ha? Ilabas.
no, but, in truth,
Oh.
diba? So parang, ang weird ni Francis eh, kasi parang formative years ko, I even posted about it. When you really think back with yung influence ni Francis, especially for people my generation, my age, gitna siya eh.
Mm.
From the formative years of as a kid, the movies he made, like Ninja Kids and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and then eventually when you become a teen, yun naman yung music journey niya.
Tama.
So, I mean, so both martial arts and music na pareho kong gusto, siya more or less siya yung
Siya talaga.
nag-shape
Yeah.
because of Francis, nagustuhan ko na OPM.
Mm.
And then biglang lumabas yung E-Heads,
Yun na.
pinakinggan ko na yung E-Heads.
Mm.
Pinakinggan ko na ang Yano, pinakinggan ko na ang River Maya, pinakinggan ko na ang
Mm.
Wolfgang.
Yeah.
You know, parang Color It Red. So parang tuloy-tuloy na from there.
Mm. What were you like as a kid? I mean,
Magulo.
paanong gulo? As in, pilyo? Anong basagulero? Like, how would you describe yourself?
Hindi ako basagulero. Pero I mean, like, I think any guy or any kid growing up, especially during those times, you have your fair share of mga trouble.
Mm.
Tapos, especially, more or less, like for me when I was a kid, especially nung separated yung parents ko for 5 years, I never really had a father figure.
Okay.
Kasi my dad went back to Cebu. So, syempre, you're searching, tapos may halong galit because of what you're experiencing, hindi mo naiintindihan. And then I grew up with my cousins, mga older cousins ko, na, so syempre, pag nasa village, tapos may konting away, sasama ka. Diba? So, may mga ganun. And then, in Cebu naman, when I transferred my teen years, syempre, new environment.
Mm.
Tapos Tagalog pa ako. Hindi pa naman ako marunong mag-Bisaya. So, eventually
Mm.
you get bullied.
Mm.
So, you have to prove yourself na naman na,
Yeah.
you can't bully me. Di
Mm-mm.
ba? And then, so it's very, mahirap din. It was hard. Pero, uh, thankfully, I was able to navigate through it and then build good friendships out of it.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I'll put it out there, 'di ba? Para kung when it comes to Gracia, no, parang sa height medyo nagkulang, 'di ba? Parang medyo na konti on the height. And alam mo 'yun?
Mercy God.
Pero
Mercy
pare,
God.
totoo ba 'yon, pare, na talagang automatic may Napoleonic complex? Or would you
I
say na
never,
ganun? O hindi mo na feel 'yon?
no, because I was never naman, I was never really an aggressive person.
Okay.
No.
Mm.
Even back home in Cebu, most of the stuff that happened to me in terms of mga gulo
Yeah.
was never me starting anything. It was normally kasi yung kaibigan ko may ganyan, so
Yeah.
sama ko. I was never like one to be like, oh, siga ako. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Maybe
I know din I
oh.
know din kasi I'm small eh. So hindi din ako
Hindi,
hindi
tsaka
din ako
nagma-martial arts ka at a young age eh, di ba? So I think may naiintindihan mo na rin siguro kahit papaano, may discipline component din yun, right? Di
yeah,
ba? Mm.
yun ang very important thing that I got out of martial arts. Also
Mm.
from my dad, and then when I was training with my older cousins in Cebu and yung mga tito ko, because it was
Mm.
a family thing.
Mm.
So that was always a lot of times, plus yung lolo ko pa.
Mm.
So, kumbaga, that was something that they instilled in me in a very young age. Like, you're doing martial arts, not actually how to learn how to fight, but how to avoid the fight.
Sure.
And then you having the how to instill self-defense.
Mm.
It's just self-defense. It's not for you to assert yourself. Parang
Mm.
ganun.
Mm.
You only use it kapag kailangan. And yung mga ganun-ganun. And then,
Yeah.
so hindi din ako masyadong,
Yeah.
I wasn't never very aggressive.
So ano yung mga bro, kasi syempre now we know that it's a birthmark, right? But syempre pare, nung hindi ko naman kayo kilala, gangster to bro, parang ano yan parang hiwa yan parang ano bang mga nakakatawang pare, theory ng mga tao sa mo, sa mukha mo.
The funniest I heard na sa sobrang emo ko daw, parang tas nag-break up daw ng girlfriend ko. Sobrang emo ko daw. Parang sinundo ko daw yung, yung ko with the cigarette. That's the funniest I heard. It's a birthmark of Cebu.
Oo nga,
Mga
no?
siya ng
Oo
Cebu.
nga, no? Oo nga. Ako pare, and feeling ko dati, akala ko talaga, parang yun nga, sa Rumble. Kasi syempre
Na,
stereotype, bro, stereotype right? I mean, comes with the rock star. I don't know if you agree with that, but the rock star image, right? And of course, you have the tattoos. And yun nga, I didn't know you, right? Parang, tas that energy, and I'm like, wow. Pare, yun nga, yung manghang-mangha ako. Tapos kaya natawa ako nung nalaman ko birthmark. But again, baka sign yun, pare, that you were born to be that, that character, that larger than life character in front of the stage. Diba? Voice quality, bro. I mean, that's also another thing. For me, you sound better, parang live nga, than sa CD. Or, well, dati may CD, diba? So, sa CD.
thank you.
How did you discover that? I mean, kasi actually, yan ang matanong ko parate. May mga iba, di ba, talagang nag-aaral kumanta, ganun. At an early age, dun na yung path nila. But may mga tao na iba, wala, random, medyo by accident. What's your story on that?
With singing, I never imagined myself as a singer, even when I was writing songs. I mean,
Mm.
I knew I could sing. I knew I could carry a tune
Mm-mm.
while I was writing it. Siyempre, kasi nagsusulat ka ng kanta with the chords.
Mm-mm.
But as a singer, per se, I never thought, kasi ang favorite ko talaga was, I wanted to be Jimmy Page. Led
Okay.
Zeppelin eh.
Okay.
Parang, One of my favorite bands of all time was Led Zeppelin.
Mm.
Um, Yun yung ginagasgas ko na vinyl ng dad ko before when I used to visit him in Cebu
Mm.
when separated. But as a singer, kumbaga, it just fell on my lap.
Mm.
Parang, even when I was in high school, when I started doing band stuff, I was always the guitar player for my high school bands. I was never the
Mm.
singer.
Okay.
There was always a different frontman. When we were doing Urban Dub, when we did Urban Dub, or we formed it, we were actually trying to look for a singer to sing the songs that I wrote
Interesting.
when we were forming it, and nobody wanted to join us, or nobody. So
Mm.
parang the drummer, the one who formed the band, sabi niya, ikaw na lang kumanta since para matapos na. Kanta mo yan, so kantahin mo na lang. Because initially naman, like I know I've mentioned this a lot of times before. The
Mm.
first album that we did was nothing serious. It was just really for remembrance for
Mm.
that drummer who was gonna leave for the States. Nakabanda ko. Remembrance lang yun. So there was no pressure na, sige, kanta ka na lang, okay. So wala siya. No formal. But when we started taking the band seriously na, I took it upon myself na rin na to try to really learn how to sing.
Mm.
So no second album, it's still rough around the edges. Even until now, it's still rough around the edges. But you constant practice lang, like listening to more music, listening to singers, and trying to figure out or trying to copy inflections, and hopefully it influences you when you start writing or creating. And then I got help then from friends like si
Mm. Mm.
Franco Reyes. Like he gave me this parang instructional na
Mm.
cassette pa nga eh. Maraming cassette, anim yata na cassette sa isang parang booklet. Tapos may manual
Mm.
na papakinggan mo, and then it teaches you how to breathe properly using your diaphragm,
Oh, wow.
mga ganun ba? Cassette, parang siyang instructional cassettes. Na, ano. So, and then through conversations with other frontmen, then like, ano, you start to learn. And then
Mm.
trial and error
Mm.
until natuto din.
Were you always confident on stage, or like at least in playing in front of people? What was that for you? Like for you nung simula?
Um, to be honest with you, it's not much. It's not about for me. It's not about confidence. Pero parang a lot of times, kasi when I play on stage, it's very different who I am on stage and when I'm
Mm.
off stage. Um, on stage kasi parang nabablock out ko yung me personally, parang nabablock out ko yung crowd. So
Mm.
parang hindi ko din sila nakikita in that sense.
Yeah.
Kumbaga, that's my own little world on stage. It's the only time na I feel free to be not naman myself, but parang as a side of myself na normally hindi ko nalalabas on
Mm.
a normal setting.
Mm.
So I don't know if you can call it confidence, or rather parang I'm just in a different world
In
na.
the zone. In the zone
Oh,
ka.
parang you're in a zone na parang uh, nag-iiba lang siya talaga when I'm on stage.
Di ba parang they call it, di ba, parang flow? Di ba, like sila Jordan, di ba, sa basketball din, parang the
Mm,
game slows down. Yung mga F1 racers, yun nga din, iba din. Like, syempre sa atin, it's like, to the audience, it's so fast. Parang grabe to ah. Pero
yeah,
sinasabi nga nila, yun nga, yung state of flow na yun, wala.
yeah,
Just liliit, focus.
yeah. You
Tapos yun,
focus.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Parang ganun. It's very similar. Also with music. And then parang the audience becomes faceless to me,
Mm-mm.
and I'm more attuned to yung energy that they give rather than their presence being there. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Mas na-attune ko sarili ko kung ano yung vibe at saka yung energy na binibigay nila. And then that helps me with playing. So mas lalo nagiging focused yung uh, performances, I guess, when it comes to that. Tapos nakaka-enjoy din siya. May natural high ka
Uh,
na nakukuha especially after.
you mentioned na yun nga, iba naman yung nasa stage, di ba? Iba yung nagpo-perform, iba rin yung pag hindi ka nagpo-perform. So, what are you like pag hindi ka Gabby Alipe Urbandub or Gabby Alipe as the rock star? What's your default, I guess, personality or behavior?
Steady lang. I mean, I'm content like sitting in one corner lang, tapos may may beer.
Yeah.
Tapos if people talk to me, well, I'm very hindi naman ako yung I'm not a tortured artist in that sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm willing to talk to anybody because for me naman din kasi my approach also in terms of my songwriting is I like talking to people because I get to learn stuff from them.
Mm-mm.
You know what I
Mm-mm.
mean? So parang I feed off of that conversation
True.
sometimes. But in general, I'm more or less I'm shy in that sense. Kumbaga, I'll have a conversation with you game, pero I also try to keep my distance then because especially with people I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm shy in that sense. But I'm open naman.
Mm.
I'm not huwag mo akong usapin or ganun.
Mm.
Hindi naman ako ganun. Steady lang.
Yeah.
Kasi kakaiba din on stage eh. On stage it's more of your focus on the performance and then what ano yung character of each song. So yun
Mm-mm.
yung nilalabas mo when you perform it.
Mm-mm.
But
Mm-mm.
outside of that, I'm fairly I like to think I'm fairly normal
Yeah. Hindi, kasi
in
ano
a
eh,
very abnormal world.
di ba parang, syempre sa songs mo din, yun nga, going back to the lyrics of it, uh, yung the emotions are really there, no? Kaya siguro pinaghinalaan na sinaktan mo yung sarili mo para dun sa scar. Kasi parang emo. And
Yeah.
yun na nga, parang that kind of openness, that kind of vulnerability. Curious din ako, yun nga, parang in that other, I guess in the more normal times, 'di ba? Are you also that open? Are you also that expressive? Especially to your loved ones, right? To your son, to your partner, to your friends. Ano yung dynamic na yun?
I try to be. I try to be as open and vocal about
Mm.
what I feel sometimes. You know what I mean? Pero I don't know. Siguro default setting us as men din sometimes parang there's some things that you keep to yourself na kailangan pagdaanan mo on your own without anybody knowing. You put on a brave face and especially you don't want your partner or your kid to know that you're worried or you're feeling anxiety or anything like that. So, minsan these are just some things that you have to keep to yourself.
Mm.
So, hindi sila natatakot
Mm.
or uh, uh, brave face. You always try to come across that you're strong and you know what you're doing. A lot of times when that happens with me, that's why I'm very grateful na I'm able to write songs kasi doon ko siya nilalabas. At least
Mm.
in a lot of ways, songwriting has been like a form of therapy for me. So even songs na I don't plan to release, pero I just write kung ano yung nararamdaman ko and put a melody to it. Or in the morning, sometimes pag umaga, pag nagkakape, like I just write down thoughts, I write down um, kung anong nararamdaman ko for that particular day, if I'm feeling anxious about something. Sometimes it turns into a song, sometimes it doesn't.
Mm.
Pero at least nalalabas ko yun sa sarili ko.
And matagal mo
Yeah.
nang practice yun. Like, I guess it's
Yeah.
a way of journaling, right? Parang yun
Yeah.
yung, that's your form of journal. Okay. So
Yeah.
ever since you were young, you had that already?
Siguro, high school. I really started doing it high school.
Mm.
Parang ganun.
Ako,
Yeah.
kaka-discover ko lang sa kanya, bro, yung journaling nga. And
Yeah.
nakakatawa kasi parang hirap din ako maging consistent with the journaling. Parang I don't get to do it every day. Parang I would see the dates, parang ang lalayo ng mga laktaw ko. So,
You don't have to.
yeah.
You don't have to do. I don't do it every day.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes nga my journal is not link or whatever.
Mm.
Uh, it doesn't even have to be a whole paragraph. Sometimes it's just a line or a
Mm.
quote or na na a lot of times the stuff that I write, yun yung nagiging captions ko sa Instagram.
Yeah.
Yung parang napag-iisipan ko lang, uy, parang yung picture na nakuha ko, parang, uy, parang bagay yata yung sa nasulat ko dati. Na parang short thought lang that I had, na fleeting thought na I ended up writing down. And then I just put them together kasi medyo mukhang bagay siya. Sometimes it's just a small, very short line or phrase.
Yeah, may pinost ka nga eh. Every day is a battle. The nicest people on the outside most of the time wrestle with a lot of demons on the inside.
Yeah.
Bigat nun, bro. So I mean, like, what is that? Is that like one of your random, things that you write
Random lang.
down? Oo.
Mm. Yun. And then yung hashtag is fragile and human because it's
Yes.
based on a song that
Song.
I wrote, that I released.
Mm.
Na yun nga, parang the duality of things, di ba? Now, what we try to, um, yung mga struggles that we go through on a day-to-day, di ba? Na parang, um, there's a line like in Fragile and Human na parang, we live through this cycle, we search for our place and then we fade. Kumbaga, you work so hard to get to a certain position, but after a while, you start to fade out. I mean, like, it's me trying to come to terms with my longevity as an artist, right? There was a time that Urbandub was on top of the world,
Mm.
but now as I'm getting older and music is changing, you know, those questions that you start wrestling with, am I still relevant as a songwriter? Relevant pa ba yung mga gusto kong sabihin, or do those things still resonate? You work so hard to be in a certain position, and then eventually mapapalitan ka rin. You know what I mean? So those are self realizations that you wrestle with on a daily basis. Kasama yung ego, yung insecurities, yung anxiety mo about that, and then eventually you start to come to terms with it. Na parang, ah, ano bang importante? Yung na-achieve ko, or what do I have now?
Mm.
Like,
Mm.
family and health. And, parang,
Yeah, I was gonna say nga eh. Kasi, well, at least in my world also, talagang top si Urban Dub eh, di ba? Tapos, parang wala bang ano yon, or I guess from a sense, yung sense of fulfillment, di ba? Na narating yun. Kasi, sabi mo, nagsimula kayo, wala-wala lang, di ba? Nag-record nga kayo ng album. I mean, I don't think it was really deliberate, right? Na parang you have to make it to the top, one of the most popular bands. I don't think it was by design, right? So for you guys to also to achieve that kind of success, um, hindi ba yung parang okay na din ako, pare? Parang hindi naman ako dapat nandito, hindi naman ako dapat umabot dito.
yeah, I think that helps a lot. Kasi
Mm.
whenever I get a chance to get questions like from younger generation of
Mm.
artists, right? Or kunwari, there was a time na I was privileged enough to be part of this songwriting camp called Elements as a mentor.
Mm.
Um, Pag tinatanong nila ako, how do I get to this point A, point B? Kumbaga, I try to put emphasis on, kasi yung sa experience namin with Urban Dub, it was never really about trying to get fame or money.
Mm.
Kumbaga, it was about the work. It was yung passionate ka sa ginagawa mo ba. We focused on that more, uh, out of necessity.
Yeah.
Kasi parang yun lang din yung alam namin gawin, and we took everything a day at a time.
Yeah.
It was just the default setting na naging ganun. And then everything else that came after that, yun yung mga parang bonus na lang. Yung treatment namin parang bonus. Oh, okay, we got paid for this, we got this, or feature tayo, ganyan. Those are just bonuses because it was the byproduct of being focused and passionate of the work.
Mm.
At that time, when we were going through it, hindi namin alam yun. But as we got older and then now looking back, nga, no. So parang, hindi na, we never forced the issue of becoming famous, or we never tried to force the issue of getting money.
Mm.
Parang mas sa music lang kami nakatutok. Um, so whenever other artists or younger artists would ask me, like ganyan, I try my best to share that experience with them. Na ito yung naging focus namin. I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying to be famous or
Yeah.
trying to look for fame and money like that. But if you're asking me what I went through, or what worked for me, this is how I got to
Yeah.
uh, where I am, or with my bandmates. And we shared the same mindset, so that I was happy.
Yeah.
No one was like, ano. So kaya nga, even though nagkaroon kami ng mga struggles in the beginning, wala din kaming pakialam. Kasi parang, I mean, okay lang kami na papansit canton or sakay tricycle papuntang gigs or sakay bus, sakay jeep. Nung simula, being in Manila, from Cebu coming to Manila, tapos wala kaming talaga namang kilala. Ano pa, alien environment pa.
Mm.
Di ba? So, nag-enjoy lang kami kasi nag-enjoy kami sa ginagawa na.
Mm.
Di ba?
Saan pumasok yung disiplina? 'Di ba? I mean, I'd like to think also to get to a certain level of success, right? It can't also just I'm not sure, please correct me if I'm wrong, parang there has to be that balance also of, di ba, of having fun, wala lang, enjoying the ride. Pero at the same time, teka, craft natin to eh. Di ba? So, what can you say about that discipline required?
When you're passionate about something, I think the discipline will follow automatic.
Mm.
Kasi if mahal na mahal mo yung ginagawa mo, hindi ka kailangan itulak pa para gawin yun eh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean the discipline came automatic for us.
Mm.
And then nakatulong din yung mindset, the shared mindset I had with my bandmates during that time na we're here to represent Cebu City,
Mm.
where we come from on a national level.
Mm.
So every gig was for us, we treated it as if it was a showcase
Mm.
of our scene back home in Cebu. So yun yung naging mindset namin going into mga gigs or shows, regardless if it was big or small.
Mm. Mm.
Para if we perform, uh, pwede sabihin ng tao, mga Cebuano yan. No? Okay, okay din pala tumugtog yung mga Cebuano.
Mm.
Parang ganun. I think that's just what we fed ourselves also as a band to keep us motivated, to keep us going. You know what I mean? Parang, you need motivation then sometimes to do what you do. And I think that helped. That kind of mindset helped us a lot
Mm.
moving forward.
Mahirap ba tumugtog ng same songs parate? Kasi, for example, pare, First of Summer, di ba? I
Yeah.
mean, syempre, crowd favorite, right? What does it feel like? I mean, curious ako dun eh.
Yeah. It's boring when you're rehearsing it.
Okay.
Fuck, we have to play this again.
Mm.
But when you start playing it in front of the crowd, and then makita mo yung
Yeah.
reaction niya. Kasi every crowd is very different.
Mm.
Iba-ibang reaction. May iba na talaga, wild. May iba na, ma-feel mo yung positive vibe nila. Even though steady lang silang tumatalon or they're
Mm.
dancing lang. Pero may iba naman, nagmo-mosh din talaga. So, it becomes, enjoyable again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But while you're rehearsing it, shit, we have to perform this. We have to play Soul Searching again. So
Yeah.
we go through the motions of playing it, but when you get on stage and then you see the crowd how they react, then it becomes enjoyable again. So it's a love-hate relationship with old songs.
Kasama ako ron eh. Nag-request ako ng new tattoo eh. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's a love-hate relationship.
yeah. Yeah. I remember yun nga kasi kami nga ni going back to yung sa banda-banda, di ba? Kami ni Chino, parang nag-enjoy talaga kami. Parang, pare, abot mo, alam mo yun? Pare, nakilala namin si Raymond Marasigan sa Boracay lang din. Tapos inom,
Mhm.
smoke ng konti. Alam mo yun? May ganong,
Yeah.
di ba? Ganong environments. Parang, shit, ito yung mga rockstar eh. Parang ito yung mga, I'm sure may ganun ka rin experience, right? Kasi Cebu ka, di ba? Tapos, all of a
Yeah.
sudden, the bands that you looked up to, kasama mo na, kausap mo na. So, ako, totally,
Hanggang ngayon.
hanggang, pare,
Hanggang
kaya,
ngayon.
so, andun ka pala. So, hindi pala weird yung nafe-feel. Kasi talagang meron pa rin ako that starstruck factor, no? And, surreal, right? It's a surreal moment na,
Yeah.
like, wow. Diba? And, kaya hindi ko makakalimutan nung gumimik tayo, pare. Yun yung one of the funniest and nights. Kasi, diba, I don't know saan tayo galing, diba? Parang for some reason, ayaw ko pare. Basta, like, we ended up, of all places, Gilis, Quezon City,
Yeah.
pare. Parang, tawan-tawa. Kasi, si B-Boy, nakakasama namin yun eh. Gumigimik si B-Boy eh. Alam mo yun, parang ganun eh. Pero si Reg, ikaw, syempre parang hindi naman namin iisipin na pupunta kayo ng Gilis eh. Parang wala sa ano niyo, sa karakter niyo yun eh. Eh syempre nakainom na tayo, right? Game! Game! Tapos lumabas yung pagka-hip-hop mo. Sabi mo, yung pala, may roots ka pala ng hip-hop. So, syempre, yung mga DJ, top 40 hip-hop, di ba?
Pinuntahan ba natin si B-Boy because he was there? Para sumunod tayo kay B-Boy.
Hindi.
Parang
Kasi nung time na yun, meron talaga kami parang every Wednesday, may night kami sa Gilis. So, I mean, I'm
okay.
not sure if Wednesday talaga tayo pumunta or random lang na, tara, Gilis
Hindi ko
tayo.
din maalala. Hindi
Parang
ko din
ganun.
maalala.
Tapos,
I know we came from someplace. We came from a gig and
oh,
then parang nagkaya yan. So, single pa yata ako nun.
oh, I
I
think
think.
so. Ay, wala
So,
nang,
parang,
wala nang
tara.
pumunta ng Gilis pare ng Taken. Parang kailangan yata.
So parang nakisama na lang din ako. Parang kasi tara. Yeah, I think si Reg knew Chino.
Yeah.
And then Reg introduced me to Chino.
Yeah.
And then eventually Chino introduced me to you on that night. And then kaya kasama-sama. O tara, sige.
Ewan ko kung
Sige,
naalala mo yun.
friend.
Ewan ko kung naalala mo yun at kung aaminin mo yun, pare. Pero napakakit ka namin sa DJ's booth eh.
Hindi ko maalala. Ang naalala ko lang na nung dumating tayo,
Yun na
hindi ko
yun.
nga maalala paano ako makauwi, paano ako nakauwi, or saan ako natulog. Until now. Kaya it's a very funny memory for me.
And obviously, ngayon pare, pamilyado na tayo, right? We've transitioned to the real titos, 'di ba? Parang nandun na tayo sa and
Coffee na lang, coffee.
coffee yan. And ako pare, I love seeing your feed. Kasi I resonate with that. I know I relate with that. I take pride. I've changed my identity now as a father primarily. Father and husband. And I see that in you also. Ano ba yan, pare? Have you always wanted to be that? Was that the goal, parang to be a family man?
No. If I'm being honest talaga, kasi like it's like with me and Erica, we were 3 years in our relationship, and Jacob came as a surprise to us.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So at that time, I was really when he was born, it was 2012.
Okay.
So I was still in my career.
Yeah.
I mean, like uh, uh 12 years into Urbandub. So parang we just hit that 10-year mark, and kumbaga we already established na kami. So my focus was really on still being a performer and playing. So being a father was far from my mind. But when it happened, to be honest, especially when we found out she was pregnant, syempre ang dami kong fears. Parang ang dami ko pang gustong gawin. Gusto ko pang gumawa ng studio. Gusto ko pang so that, you know what I mean, when you set goals for yourself.
Mm.
So, ang dami kong mga kinakatakutan when we found out she was uh, pregnant.
Mm.
Nag-shift lang talaga when he was born, the first time I saw him. Kasi parang, uy, I don't know, as cliche as it may sound or corny man, pero I don't know, for me, talagang yun ang nangyari sa akin. It was just really strange. Strange shift in mindset. Kasi even during the time he was born, I did the Tanduay tour, yung P5 tour all over the
Mm.
Philippines, Parokya, Kamikaze, Rico
Rico.
Blanco,
Mm.
and Wolfgang. Tapos kami, Urbandub. So tour. But I found myself being in that tour. I enjoyed it,
Mm.
being a stage. Lasingan eh. Pero, I mean, it was on that tour na I started, parang, I couldn't wait to get home. Parang gusto kong umuwi. All I could think of was going home. Na, I felt guilty na
Mm.
I wasn't there for him, even if it was just for the weekend.
Mm.
Kasi everyday, parang gusto mo siya lang yung kasama mo, siya lang tinitignan mo, inaamoy-amoy mo yung ulo. Lalo na pag newborn, di ba?
Yeah, yeah,
Sarap
yeah,
amoy
yeah.
ng, ano
Tama,
eh,
tama.
may bango sila
Iba, iba,
na
iba yung
kakaiba eh.
amoy, pare.
Oo, parang na, ano eh. Ngayon, mama, ano eh. Ang
Maasim na.
amoy,
Amoy
maasim
araw,
na.
ba't maasim?
Maasim na siya ngayon. Pero I mean, during that time, di ba, parang, so, I think it also helped me in that sense na, that shift in mindset contributed to us taking that hiatus after our 50th year
Sure.
ng Urban Dub. That's why even kasi si Lalay was having kids na rin. She had 2 kids.
Mm-mm.
And then si Janjan wanted to focus on his marriage
Mm-mm.
and have a kid as well. So, parang yun, nag-change lang.
Mm-mm.
Change lang.
Is it really parang an either or thing na kasi syempre 'di ba ang ganda ng momentum mo, upak kayo, urban dub, 'di ba? Talagang there was obviously it could go higher pa 'di ba? Bigger pa parang ganon. Then you have Jacob, right? Parang at that point ba parang lahat bigla nung pangarap mo, tatabi ko na 'yan. Ano yung thought process nun, pare?
Uh, I never felt like I was setting aside my
Mm.
dream, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Kumbaga, it's on hold.
Yeah.
Focus on this first. Kasi I was trying to navigate then. my situation kasi might be different with other people. I wasn't ready to be a dad.
Mm.
And then nalagay ako sa situation na to, and I kind of realized my responsibility. So I wanted to navigate through that first.
Yeah.
Find myself as separate from Gabby Urbandub, now Gabby as a dad.
Yeah.
So I needed to learn that. Kumbaga, some guys can just do it, just become a dad, and it's or kasi planado. They were really
Parang, ang
outwardly,
hirap nun. Ako pare I mean, yung can just do it, yung switch. Pare ako meron din akong meron akong just to share, meron akong window nung naging
yeah,
kami nung well, now she's my wife, no. Nung
yeah,
nagsimula kami, pare first 3-4 months, pare trash na trash ako, man. Eh
yeah,
pero automatic kasi may stepson ako, right? So iba na agad yung
yeah,
game.
yeah,
He was Alonzo was 3.5 at that time, right?
yeah,
But the first 3 months, parang hindi ko naintindihan pare kung gaano kaseryoso to. Na hindi
yeah,
to
yeah,
wala-wala lang. Kasi nga,
mm,
automatically, may anak. May
yeah,
automatic na. But yeah, it took a while for me. 3 months na um, wasak. Pare, alam mo
mm,
ba, ang kwento ko lang, share ko lang to. Um, there's one time, Christmas party, I was so drunk. Di ko alam kung ano rin tinira ko noon, pare, to be honest.
mm,
Tapos, dumating yung, si Jamie, my partner, dumating. Tapos, inaway ko siya, bro. Inaway ko siya.
mm.
Tapos, for some reason, hindi naman niya ako inaway. Parang she just knew that, I was not in
You're-
my right mind, in the right state, na parang nilipas
mm.
niya. Tapos, she'll talk. Then, the next day nga, hiyang-hiya ako, pare, yung shame talaga sa akin. Kasi, kahit, alam mo yung parang naalala mo na hindi. Yung
Yeah,
ganung feeling.
uh,
Tapos bilang yun, she told me na, I know naman na it's not your normal, ganyan. Yun nga, medyo napalala, nasobrahan. Pare, alam mo ba that actually made me, yung guilt ko na yun, pare, naghanap ako ng Alcoholics Anonymous, pare. Hindi, pare, seryoso. Kasi,
nice.
kasi yung thought process ko noon was like, shit, meron ng iba sa buhay ko. Hindi lang ako to eh. Hindi lang, yung ano yun, dati pare, good time lang. Di ako lang yun. Di, wala naman akong girlfriend, wala naman akong pamilya. I don't have to think about anyone, right? Then
Yeah,
all of a sudden, I have a family. And I had to choose, right? I had to choose, tutuloy mo ba yung feeling mo rockstar ka, na hindi ka naman
yeah,
rockstar? Or, itong magandang buhay na to, na mas steady, na mas kalmado. And,
mm,
well, fast forward, it's been ilang years na rin naman. Alonzo is now, 11 years old also.
yeah.
But to your point lang na to yung iba, parang natural.
May iba na, I mean, like, kasi maybe it's planned.
Oo.
Maybe kasi they did it,
Yeah.
they did it the right way na. They got married with somebody na sobrang ano na, and then they had the baby, so they really were planning to have a
Mm,
family.
mm,
In our case kasi, like, if I speak to I wasn't planning it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Hindi siya planado, so I really needed to buckle down and like figure this out kasi
Yeah.
wala sa plano eh. Hindi ko planado
Ah,
eh. Parang paano ba to? Even until now, man, like I'm still trying to figure my way around
yeah.
how it is to be a somewhat. You can't be a perfect dad.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing that I've realized. You can't always you can't always know what to do na sakto, di ba? So you have to accept the fact that you're learning as you go,
Mm.
di ba? Trying to get the best qualities ng natutunan mo sa parents mo while they were trying to
Yeah.
discipline you, and then try to incorporate that with your own mindset din. So medyo mahirap
Yeah.
pero uh hinahanapan ng paraan. You just keep trying, I guess.
And of course, to add to that, syempre, we have to update, 'di ba? The parenting style, right? Na parang kasi
Oo, oo.
generation, if siya obviously ibang-iba na and with technology,
Mm.
right? Parang I picked it up somewhere na you're not supposed to raise your kids, you're supposed to nurture them.
Yeah,
And to be
exactly.
honest, that's so alien to me, that concept. Kasi pare sa bahay na yun, batas militar eh, di ba? Parang,
Ako rin.
di ba?
Uupakan ka talaga kapag
Oh,
wala ka sa ayos.
I, I always tell my son, alam mo ba kung gaano ako kaswerte? Sabi ko, because I don't believe in Yung palo, yung ganun. So, sinasabi,
Ako, I do.
you
Oh,
do.
pero only if he does something that's a danger to himself or to somebody else,
Mm,
and pag sinagot niya yung nanay niya.
yun. Ako, pare,
Kasi for me, kailangan may consequence eh. Na,
mm,
kasi isipin mo tayo, kaya nga paminsan hindi tayo masyadong naghahanap ng gulo kasi alam natin, paminsan pag kung masyado kang madaldal at madada, masasapa ka talaga sa labas eh. May physical siya na consequence or hindi, you end up in jail or you
yeah,
end up
yeah,
somewhere
yeah,
na pangit, 'di ba? So he has to have that sense of
yeah,
for me
yeah,
hindi ko naman siya pinapalo, hindi ko naman siya
yeah,
ginugulpe. I don't, pero yung may konting physical na,
yeah,
uy,
yeah,
teka, check muna yung sarili mo. Especially when he was, na sasagot-sagutin niya yung nanay niya, yung how to be respectful with women, na you can't
yeah,
do that to your mom. And then pag dangerous naman sa kanya, di ba, na may consequence yan. You're lucky now na hindi ka na aksidente. Pero ito yung merong kang kapalit.
yeah,
But normally, in a normal day na mga konting kakulitan na, kinakausap lang.
yeah.
Nag-uusap lang kami ng masinsin.
Ako yun din trigger sa akin eh. Pag hindi ko gusto yung tono niya sa mami niya. Pare.
Pwede yun.
Yan ang pinaka hindi ko ito tolerate talaga, pare. Parang, yung magulo ka, di ba? Yung medyo pasaway ka ng konti. Yun, okay,
Mm,
okay lang yun eh. Kasi lalaki yan eh, di ba? Hindi mo naman may
mm.
iwasan yan eh. Pero sagutin mo yung mami mo. Pare.
My thing with him sometimes pag inaano ko siya when sa mom niya, which he learned now, he doesn't do it anymore.
Mm,
Pero hindi ako nagsasalita, yung,
mm.
yung ko na to, hindi ako nagsasalita, titignan lang niya ako. Tapos, he knows already, na
Yeah,
parang not to do that.
yeah, yeah.
Parang,
Nakakatawa.
para walang siya magulo.
Nung bata kasi ako yung sumasagot, bro eh.
Yeah.
I've always been that kid eh. Yung piloso po, yung parang actually ako parati napipingot at saka nasampal pare kasi sagot tama like
Mm.
what you said. You run your mouth, you're gonna get smacked, man. Parang ganun
Yeah.
yung so,
Because in the real world setting, if you run your mouth and you run your mouth towards the wrong people, may mangyayari talaga sa'yo. It's better to learn that as a kid rather than, kaya ang daming mga, ang daming mga, what's the term?
mm,
Ngayon, sa mga youth of today, na entitled,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
di ba? And a lot of times, they run their mouth online. Because nobody can touch them online.
It's funny. It's funny nga sabi ko parang yeah, you know, I got bullied, ganyan ganyan. Parang kwento mo nga sa akin yung form of bullying nyo. Tapos kukwento sa akin, parang, seryoso ka ba? Parang yan yung bullying sa iyo. Alam mo ba kung anong ginagawa dati? But yeah, it's a different world. It's a different world.
Uh,
And
it's very different. Yeah.
and
But I
ako,
kind of want to raise my son in a uh, best of both worlds.
yes, agree.
Today and also the stuff that we learned as we were growing up. Slightly modified
Yeah.
na. Hindi na, it's not as harsh, but
I was gonna say nga na, syempre hindi mo naman kasi pwede rin erase like the same way as before. Kasi iba na
yeah,
rin yung
yeah.
mundo eh. And kawawa din yung
Iba na
anak
rin.
mo pag ganun mo
Yeah.
ginawa yon, right? And
Mm.
and ako I'm flawed that way also na it's always a learning process for me on kasi nga marami akong ina-unlearn eh on how
Mm.
to communicate, right? To
Yeah.
deal with well now I have two boys. I have a 2.5 na boy ngayon na mukhang ito yung pucha magiging sakit talaga sa ulo namin, pare.
Magiging pilyo.
Kasi yung panganay mabait eh. Yung
Mm.
typical lang matigas lang yung ulo, ganun lang yung
Mm.
but steady eh.
Subukan ka din talaga eh.
Ito pare,
Uh,
at 2 years old, bro.
mm.
Talagang independent thinker. Yung ganun eh. May sarili na siyang... So sabi ko, but then, yun nga, I think that's...
Salamin. Salamin yan, bro. Hindi
Parating,
bata yan, salamin.
yeah. Saka pare, sabi nga nila, di ba? God gives you yung parang what you need. Yung kids is actually a way of you
Yeah.
really learning, to be a better person. What you
Every
need to
time nga,
learn.
every time I see something that Jacob does, na, ito yung mga ginawa ko nung bata ako eh. Tapos syempre, I have to reprimand him
Yeah.
or explain to him why he shouldn't be doing that stuff. Hindi ko mapigilan sa'yo, tinatawagan ko talaga nanay ko at tatay ko, story yan. Tapos tumatawa lang sila, ayan,
Yeah.
kasi. And we,
Yeah.
we have a good laugh about it. And which
Yeah.
is nice of being a parent now because like it also kind of strengthens my bond with my
Sure.
parents. Kasi parang now I get to talk to them in that level na parang, "Uy, I really apologize for the stuff I put you guys through."
Yeah.
So natatawa na lang din sila sa akin.
Oh, pare, grabe yung appreciation ko now for my parents, no?
Yeah.
Kasi syempre, meron din tayong mga struggles, 'di ba, as parents now. You know, I'm what, 38.
Yeah.
I'm 38 years old, turning 39 din. And naisip ko pare, yung parents ko mas bata sila when they had me, when they had us, eh. Right?
Yeah.
Tapos
Mm.
parang like shit, ito pala yung mga tinatago nila sa alam mo yun, to some level, to some
Mm.
degree also na they had to deal with these things na sila lang because
Yeah.
they didn't want, of course, their kids to feel that, right? Or to go
Yeah.
through that. Parang it's unfair for the kids. And syempre, hindi naman pinag-uusapan yan. My family, I grew up also in in a household na hindi vocal yung mga tao. Na yung affection, pare, walang, hindi ganun yun. Ang
Yeah.
affection sa amin, service eh. Alam mo, yung masarap na pagkain, sunduin ka sa school, ganun.
Yeah.
But there's no, yung love language namin does not include words or yung touch, no? And, but now, yun nga, as parents, yun pala yun. Sabi ko po siya,
Mm.
yun pala yun.
Especially now for us, kasi as a parent, going through this pandemic with all the anxieties that we're feeling,
Yeah.
all the struggles, all the problems, syempre we have to navigate through that na hindi mararamdaman ng anak
Yeah.
natin yun. Na hindi, they don't grow up. We try to give them as much normalcy as we can provide
Mm-mm.
despite the restriction. Kaya nga, yun nga, every weekend, me and Jacob try to do jiu-jitsu, we try to have fun, we play basketball, kasi I
Mm-mm.
just kind of want to still have that, at least yung nakikita niya na, ay, masaya, masaya, masaya.
Oo.
Kahit na hindi, I mean, what we're going through is not really that ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Siguro, it would be good to ask also, no? I mean, of course, pandemic, pare, magto 2 years na. Tapos, tangina, ganito gobyerno, alam mo yun, saya-saya sa Pilipinas. 'Di ba? But what's something good or unexpected that has come out of this pandemic for you?
Uh, it gave me more time to like reassess my direction ko sa buhay. Like how I want things to be. Ano ba yung to be able to set new goals for myself since parang reset lahat.
Mm.
Parang back to square one kasi lahat eh. So that's on a personal uh on a more personal note,
Mm-mm.
'di ba?
Mm-mm.
Pero in terms of family, mas na-strengthen 'yun. Yung the good thing that came out of it is I had more time with my son,
Mm-mm.
'di ba? Kumbaga, I don't have to go out as often for work or gig or out of town or anything like that. Kasi tapos mapipilitan ka talaga na maghanap ng ways na pwede kayong mag-bond. So it
Mm-mm.
strengthens also your bond also with your kid, which I think is very important, especially during times like these.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, yun yung mga good takeaways ko from this pandemic. You know, discover stuff for yourself and for family.
Yeah. And of course, at the same time, yun nga, the pandemic also has affected us in a, lahat tayo apektado also in a negative way, di ba? And mabigat.
Sobra.
Mabigat, right? So, anong go-to mo, pare? How do you like pick yourself up? What are your like habits or routines that helps you at least stay, level-headed
Yeah,
about things?
exercise. Keep ourselves healthy. That's one thing I feel disappointed with in terms of uh kasi para the media and government only put so much attention towards the vaccinations and stuff like that, which is well and good.
Mm,
Everybody should or whatever.
yeah,
Your choice. For me, it's kung ano man yung paniniwala mo,
yeah,
whatever. Pero bakit wala masyadong emphasis on
yeah.
people also physically trying to keep themselves
Yes.
fit and healthy and strong to para to boost their immune systems then
Yes,
if ever they
yes.
do get the virus, your body is equipped
Yeah.
to
Fight
fight
it off.
it. I've been working out and lifting not because I want to be shredded or
Yeah.
parang gayot or whatever, but it's really for health and
Yeah.
ano din ba, exercising also releases endorphins, so it
Yeah.
helps you with your mental state then.
Mm.
So parang I've tried to focus myself on that and then yun, uh, I continue to write and
Mm.
record pa rin. Uh, not as serious as before, but
Yeah.
just for for your mental health then, and to give you something productive to do.
Yeah. Yung nga, yung sabi ko nga, tama ka eh. Vaccine or kung ano man protocols, okay, fine. 'Di ba? I mean, I
Yeah.
have my opinions, right? But ultimately, it's for the greater
Oh,
good. O sige, define. Pero tama ka,
yeah.
bakit walang nagsasabi or talks about health? Kasi,
Yeah.
to me, I don't know if this is controversial or what, but ang vaccine, para sa akin, is supplement. Parang ganun ko siya view. Kasi ang kailangan mo, pare, yung foundation mo, which is sarili mo, right? Yung katawan
Yeah.
mo. Na kahit gaano kakalakas yung, o kagaling yung vaccine, if your body is shit, the
Yes.
vaccine's not gonna save you, man. Parang yun yung, ano ko eh, di
It
ba?
won't.
And sabi ko, that's why the protocols, why? It's doing more harm than good, right? Na parang stay in your home, bawal tumakbo, bawal mag-exercise, ganyan. And sabi ko nga, parang, the drain yung drain niya, hindi lang siya physical, but actually mas grabe on a mental level.
Mental level.
And there's science already talking about yun nga that your gut health, yung ano mo, yung body mo directly affects or impacts your immunity. 'Di ba? So,
The
yeah,
more
man.
stressed you are, more bumabagsak din yung in your immune system
Yeah.
also falls. So, I mean, uh, yung sa how I wish na the same way that they push towards yung kasi let's be honest, it's already uh, in terms of statistics, people even who are vaccinated can
Get
still
it.
can still give out the disease, right? Or
Yeah.
still can get it,
Yeah.
right? Pero most of the time, people who fall uh, from the disease kasi meron na silang comorbidities or they're out of shape,
Yeah.
their health isn't that good. So sana may emphasis din ng media and government agencies to really instill people to be able to work out and pursue a healthier lifestyle. Hindi naman yung sobra naman, pero I mean just to stay active ba?
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? To keep your body whatever. Actually, kaya nga natutuwa ako with a lot of my friends who ngayon they're into
Yeah.
nagbabike sila, or a lot of friends still continue to do martial arts
Mm-mm.
or yun nga, fitness, trying to figure out ways to still stay
Yeah.
naturally ba?
Yeah.
Natural, boosting your immune system in a natural way. Getting some sun, vitamin
Yeah.
D, supplements with multivitamins or zinc or
Yeah.
stuff like that ba?
Natauhan ako talaga, bro. Kasi yung comorbidity, ako yun eh. Diba? Parang I've always been on
Mm.
the big side. Tapos family ko, both sides, pare, kompleto ng alphabet ng sakit. Alam mo yun? So talagang,
Yeah.
um, kung yung risk sa risk, ang taas sa amin, right? So, yan, takbo ko, paaraw ako, ganyan. My wife
Yeah.
is a yoga instructor. Although hindi ako nagpa-practice ng yoga, pero parang, I guess titignan ko parang ano ba yung thought process niya. Kasi again, malaking
Yeah.
factor nga yung mental eh, 'di ba? Yung calmness mo, yung being present mo,
Mm.
you're managing your anxiety, or if may depression, you try to manage it also. And yeah, sana nga talaga no, sana talaga there's more focus, there's more push, there's more conversation at least no on
Yeah.
on those things. Kasi if there's one thing I started running again, and syempre nung una physical yung goal ko. 'Di ba? Kasi pocho kailangan ko pumayat, 'di ba? Parang ganun.
Mm.
Pero pare, alam mo yung benefit talaga was actually more on my mental health. Parang the impact that it had on, para siyang meditation for me. Yun nga, it's active.
Yeah.
Kasi I don't listen to music. I don't bring my phone when I run, no.
Mm.
So that's like an hour. Minsan pag mga long runs, pare umaabot ako 3 hours. Walang phone 'yun.
Mm.
So parang ang liberating niya, 'di ba? Na
Mm.
wala, you're just really there. You hear your breath, you feel the sun and all that. And yun, parang grabe, it has done wonders talaga. Again, from a mental and even spiritual level. And siguro yun nga, I think that's one of the things also that has, kaya in agreement ako sa'yo eh. Kasi yun talaga yung
Mm.
nagpapakakalma rin sa akin ngayong pandemic. Kasi
It helps a lot. I still eat the same. I mean,
mm,
I still eat the same. Hindi naman ako yung, wow, kailangan healthy talaga. You know what I mean? I eat the same.
yeah,
Occasionally at night, I'll have
Beer.
beer or wine. Yung normal ba? Pero
Mm.
at least gumagalaw pa rin. Especially in the morning, to start the day off. Papawis, do my run. Actually, baliktad naman tayo. Ako naman, I listen to podcasts while I
Mm.
run.
Yeah.
Yung, and then takbo, lakad, takbo. My routine normally is just 45 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Like 45 minutes every day na. If I don't go to the gym to lift sa bubble, pero yung lift ko pa nga is more functional, more
Mm.
just to keep extra to add strength, and then yung bones ba, yung mobility ng katawan is still there.
Yeah.
Hindi siya yung parang mas shredded and
Yeah.
talagang alam mo yun, hindi naman
Yeah.
kamacho, pero it's more, but yun nga, to keep yourself active pa rin, and may ginagawa kang productive, and it's nice because my son gets to see it.
Mm.
He sees it every day,
Example,
then
no?
so siya din nagkakaroon din siya ng, oh, I have to shoot too, see, I
Para
have to
mas magaling siya sa'yo,
exercise.
bro. Nakikita ko sa mga video, mas may talent siya sa basketball, pare, kaysa sa'yo. Parang doon papunta yun, ah.
Palpal ko siya, Jaworski to, man. Sisiko ko talaga yung mukha niya, eh. Nakaporma, eh.
What's something na, I guess for the most part of your life, you've believed or that you've, leaned into. Tapos now, kutya, hindi na pala totoo yun, no? Parang ganun. Parang may realization ka na, hindi ganun, ah. Or, what's something then na, for the longest time you've believed it, or tinuro sa'yo, or it was passed on to you. Tapos now, shit, oo nga. Talagang, ito ngayon yung kailangan ko rin siyang ipasa sa anak ko. Meron ka bang ganung, I guess, guidance or behavior?
Um, it has a lot to do with martial arts
Hmm.
sa akin. Um, what I've learned from my dad and titos, that yung mga, when I trained with them, na dati hindi ko naiintindihan in terms of being disciplined and focused, how that can help you. Uh, Parang naiintindihan ko siya mas lalo now.
Hmm.
That's why mas porsigido ako especially after me and Jacob train. We sit down, we do breathing techniques together.
Okay.
Hickson Gracie.
Yeah.
Na normally after our training, we say tanggal gi, tanggal ano, and then Hickson Gracie, and then we start breathing together, and then we start talking. We talk about like what we learned today, what we learned on the mats. Parang ganun yung uh, it helps a lot. I think it also helped me a lot in terms of navigating through my job as a
Mm.
musician. Na I never really fell into the trappings of what comes with my world.
Yeah.
The Syempre, I tried it. I've done my fair share, pero it never really consumed me.
Mm.
Na I was able to still move away from it because I had something else like martial arts to fall back on. I can't do this thing kasi hindi ko magagawa itong isa.
Yeah.
Diba?
Mm.
And then yung disiplina na I learned from it. I'm not the most disciplined person, pero at least merong konti
Yeah.
na I gained from that. And then the level of focus na whenever you're doing something na kailangan, especially if it's something that you want to do or you want to really pursue, kailangan nafo-focus ka talaga. You put everything, all your being into it to be able to achieve something that's more than yourself.
So now,
Dati baliwala, kahit ano lang, pwedeng gawin.
so talaga nung kaanak
And I
ka, no?
made so
Yan,
many.
yan na yun. Yan na talaga yung pivot ng buhay mo when you really had Jacob. That's when you
I
made.
think that's, kasi when you're single and or especially sa trabaho ko nga, it's so easy to get lost
Yeah.
within the ilaw ba? Madaling masilaw sa ilaw.
Kami nga hindi sikat eh. Nalulost kami dun sa ilaw eh. Paano pa kaya yung...
Hindi kasi people are telling you certain things about yourself na, oh, idol.
Yeah.
Diba? Pero I mean, hindi, pareho lang tayo. Ang dami ko rin pinagdadaanan, hindi nyo lang kita.
Hmm.
You see what you see on the videos, you hear, but you don't know. You really don't know what I'm going through also, and what I'm trying to fight
Yeah.
within myself, diba? And then when I had a son, parang mas lalo, shit, I have to stop these parang things that are wrong with me.
Mm.
Kumbaga, kasi it won't be good for him. Kasi parang you start realize, responsable na ako sa buhay nito eh. Hindi na
Mm.
pwedeng ako lang. It can't be a selfish pursuit. It was easier before to be selfish and to like, you know,
Fun.
to do things for yourself, di ba? Fun. Tapos wala kang pakialam kung ano mangyayari sa'yo. Di ba? Sugod ka lang ng sugod. Ah, okay lang. You don't have to answer to anyone.
Yeah.
But now it's different.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Runong is about yun nga, conversations, right? Real conversations with interesting people, successful people. And the idea really is to baka anong pwede na ma-pick up or mapitas, 'di ba, sa life story. And I wanted to ask you, no, as an end, no, to our kwentuhan. Anong karunungan, no, na siguro let's frame it in a sense now. What would you like to pass on to your son that you'd be also comfortable to share with us that that has really helped you in life, that has just helped you center, that has helped you succeed, and yeah, has helped you to continue to move forward.
Uh, paano ba? There's no truth in ano, you can be whatever you want to be. I mean, what I think is more realistic
Hmm.
than that statement is finding your passion and sticking with it.
Hmm.
Kung ano yung kung ano yung ma mahanap mo within yourself that you feel most at home with. Like let's say for example for me it was music, 'di ba? When I found music, before I found music I didn't know what I was going to be. Like I didn't know who I was. I was trying my best to I was searching.
Hmm.
Kaya nga may soul search.
Yeah.
No, but that was very true. And then once I found music, parang I really just put all my effort, all my passion towards it. Kasi I felt normal. I found my niche. I found something that it hindi naman siya it came easy to me, but it felt natural. The most natural thing that you find for yourself, you should stick with it, regardless of anything. That's why I quit school. I quit everything for it. I'm
Hmm.
not telling people to quit, stop school or anything, but on my experience, yun yung nangyari. Of course, my parents were like, gagawin mo dyan. Yung fears ng parents na,
Hmm.
why would you quit school? Or, syempre, the fears of wala namang, it's very rare for somebody to really make it in music or entertainment or whatever. But I just had this big belief in what I was doing. And then nilaanan ko siya talaga ng oras. Like I didn't take it lightly. Kumbaga, I really put all my effort into it. So, whatever I got out of that, happy naman ako. Diba? Hindi naman kami pinakamalaking banda sa Pilipinas, diba?
Hmm.
That's not, but at least we did our part, we made our mark uh, at some point.
Hmm.
And I'm satisfied ako dun because at least nagawa ko yung goal ba. I was able to meet the goals na I set for myself.
Hmm.
Parang, and that leads you to become more happy. I mean, or at least content.
Hmm.
Kaya ngayon na parang 21 years ng Urban Dub, but we're not the biggest band right now, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a younger set of bands anymore. But I'm content. I'm happy. I'm not like I don't feel the need to compete with
Hmm.
anyone.
Hmm.
Kumbaga, I'm happy with what we've done and hindi wala akong regrets ba? No regrets.
Yeah.
Regrets. So if that's something I can pass on to my kid, then yeah. Kaya nga ngayon, hinayaan ko lang siya to do what, if you like, you want to do martial arts, go. If you want to draw, go.
Yeah.
Never ko siya sinasabihan na, no, don't do that.
Hmm.
Huwag mong gawin yan. Ano. Kasi eventually hopefully he'll find his niche.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, once he has that, then go.
Hmm.
Gawin mo. Yung pa nga yung rule namin ng mom niya, let's finish high school. Finish high school and then figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
Instead of forcing him to go to a certain college or a certain kung mahanap niya na yung gusto niyang gawin, then let's go to a place that can nurture that
Sure.
interest
Mm.
na trip mo. Diba? It doesn't have to necessarily be the standard uh, form of education anymore.
So, okay, what are you from a career standpoint, from a music standpoint, what are you busy with? I know you released a new song fairly recently, right? Can you tell us more of what you're into?
Family business, I've been helping out my family business naman din kami. So, and then in terms of music, I've been busy with keeping busy, not busy, but
Okay.
keeping busy writing songs for myself lang. Releasing singles
Mm.
under Tower of Doom, independent
Mm.
siya na label.
Yes.
Um, for fun, really just for fun. A good exercise lang din. Kasi most of these songs na I'm starting to release, I started writing them during the start ng pandemic.
Mm.
No, nung simula pa nung unang lockdown.
Yeah.
So walang magawa, wala akong gamit kasi na-quarantine yung lahat ng gear ko sa bahay ng road manager namin.
Mm.
Ang meron lang ako acoustic guitar, so I started just writing that. Pagtripan ko nga to, na
Mm.
magsulat lang ng mga simpleng kanta.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was a good exercise. And then, that's about it. And then Urban Dub naman, sa Urban Dub, lucky enough, we still get a few shows here and there online.
Mm.
Mga, whether it's a private event, a private corporate event,
Parang
hindi
ang hirap para sa
madalas.
inyo nun, pare. Kasi di ba grabe yung energy exchange nyo eh. And, sorry parang paano yun? Paano pag,
Wala. I mean, extra income. I mean, at least meron
sure.
rather than, and it gives us a reason to get together.
Mm.
Magkakasama in and then we just record parang pre-tape the performance ng live so we
Mm.
get to play again together
Mm.
and see each other.
And sobrang nyo close eh,
And
no? Talagang tight kayo eh, no?
as a band.
Yeah.
But if I'm being honest, like we're very very different individuals sa Dog. I mean
Mm.
we're pero hindi kami magkakabarkada.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, we're
Pero,
we're close in that sense because of what we've done together and parang magkakapatid and stuff
mm,
like that. But buhay-buhay, we were very, very, very
different.
different. I think that's why it works then for us kasi everybody brings in something to the table that's very different and surprising.
Yeah, yeah. But over 20 years is a feat on its own, right? Na
Mm,
talagang, I know yun nga, naglay low kayo, right? But the band is still together, right? So that in
more or
itself,
less.
I mean, the accomplishments that you guys have done through the years is really something to be proud of, man. And yeah, and I wanted to acknowledge you. Thank you, for making time, for being this open also. And yun nga, you've inspired a lot of us, and now also with you embracing fatherhood, being the family man and the tito that you are. Tumanda rin naman kami pare, 'di ba? So parang I mean, it's nice also to see that. And it's also, we're rooting for you at the same time that, we're secretly rooting, not secretly. We were rooting for ourselves, right? And syempre, we want also, parang sino kaya yung mga kapareho natin? Alam mo yun, kamusta na kaya yung mga idol natin? And,
Yeah, because when you see, especially during the pandemic, I love watching like stuff like mga ginagawa ni Chito,
hmm,
ginagawa ni TJ,
hmm,
Brillantes,
yes,
or sila Reg. Yung
hmm,
mga contemporaries were also fathers or
hmm,
dads na it inspires you din eh. Na parang, si boards, they take time with their kids, like teaching them different skill sets. So it's inspiring din. So parang, I want to do that with my son as well.
hmm,
So in the hopes that, especially among friends, parang
yeah,
we inspire each other. I mean, especially, and hopefully it benefits our kids.
yeah,
Kasi in the end naman, sila naman talaga mag-take over ng lahat. Diba?
yeah.
Nag-change, nag-shift na rin everything that you work for. Sa kanila lang di ako
Tsaka pare, ang
in
laman,
the end.
ang laman na ng mga feed natin lahat. Mga picture ng mga anak natin or video na. Nakakatawa pare. Ang laki rin ng shift na
Yeah.
yun eh, no? Oo.
Yeah. Actually, my social media, I try my best na not to leave, just to keep it uh, professional.
Professional.
It's kasi I don't really subscribe to social media that much.
Mm.
It's a work page. Pero paminsan I try to leave my family out of it, my
Mm.
family life out of it,
Mm.
personal life out of it. Pero paminsan ang sarap lang kasi post si
Tama.
Jacob. si,
Tama.
si Jacob na lang yung relationship namin.
Tama. 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 Oh, yun,
It's
bro.
nice to keep things a little bit more private, but with my relationship with my son, sometimes I really share it kasi it it brings me joy, simple joys.
Sarap na may pamilya, sarap na may anak, no, bro? Tangina, iba talaga. Iba talaga yung joy, no? Iba yung joy na binibigay. And I don't wala naman ako pagisisi, wala naman ako yung parang tangina, sana hindi ako nagtapon ng buhay ko or what not. Actually, mas may appreciation nga ako ngayon eh kasi pinagdaanan natin eh, 'di ba? Parang alam mo eh, alam mo na and this is actually a choice.
Yeah.
It's not it's not forced upon us, right? It's not wala ka na ano, hugutin na yung buhay mo, wala na, ganyan. Hindi eh. Hindi. We've experienced both, right? And it's a conscious decision to choose this.
And what I like about our generation of fathers, right?
Mm.
Was we grew up in a time that's gitna.
Mm.
I mean, we were able to experience lives na walang technology or very limited
Yeah.
and technology into the boom.
Mm.
And then we saw the transition
Yeah.
and then what we went through.
Tama.
So our kids now should reap the benefits of that experience, of those experiences and that knowledge that we have. Na alam natin yung buhay na pag you meet up with your friends, hindi mo pwedeng i-text. Kailangan mong tawagan sa phone. Kita tayo ng alas
Tama.
4 ha. Alas 4 dito tayo magkikita. Pag wala ka doon, kupal
Tangin
ka.
na upal ka.
Di ba? Di ba? Walang, where you na?
Oh,
Where you na? Walang ganun
walang
eh.
ganun, man.
Kahit nga dati kung may beeper ka, pag set, I'll see you in, yan, kailangan magkikita kayo. I mean,
Beeper
but I
saka
mean,
beeper saka phone card, bro, para makatawag ka.
beeper sa phone card. I mean, so, we have that best of
Yeah.
both worlds type,
Totally.
old school and the new school.
Mm.
So the knowledge that we can share with them is good ba? Pwede
Yeah.
natin silang ma, explain
Right.
sa kanila. Like with you can even compare it as now. Like with my parents before when I'd listen to Metallica or Pantera when I was a kid, na maiingay, oh, that's satanic music. That's satanic music. But now when my kid listens to that kind of stuff, parang for me,
Solid.
yeah,
Ganda
that's
ng taste
music.
mo. Solid na
Or
taste
parang
mo.
kikinig siya Led Zeppelin, he'll listen to Led Zeppelin,
Talaga?
but at the same
Wow,
time
astig.
he can listen to he'll listen to Earth, Wind and Fire. He'll listen to BTS. He'll
BBM.
listen to Justin Bieber.
Ang lawak.
He'll
Ang lawak nung
oh,
ano mo.
kumbaga kasi wala I try my best not to stop him from also figuring things out for himself.
Sure.
Parang ganun.
Sure. Sure. All right, man. Super thank you, pare.
Thanks, dude.
Super,
This was
super.
fun.
Oh, man.
Saya.